Awesome. Thanks, John. And thank you, Congressman, for joining us and all of our members. Good morning and welcome to our Small Business Roundtable call with United States Congresswoman Young Kim. My name is Taylor Criddle. I'm your grassroots manager for California, working with State Director John Kabatek. I work with members like you to assist in telling your story through various opportunities like our Take Action alerts, speak with the media, testify on small business issues in the legislature, and more. So I'd like to thank you guys again for taking the time to participate. Just want to go over a couple quick housekeeping items before we begin. This event is being recorded and will be shared with our membership after the call. Our team will clearly indicate when we move to the Q&A discussion portion of this event. If you have a question, you can also type it into the chat box or use the raised hand icon on the top of your screen. To unmute, use the microphone icon at the top of your screen. Use the Control-Shift-M to mute and unmute yourself. If you've joined us by phone, simply press *6 on your keypad to unmute and mute. We know as a small business owner, your time is limited. Thank you so much again for being here today and joining us. At this time, I want to turn it over to NFIB California State Director John Kabatek. John?
Excellent. Well, thank you, Taylor. It's great to be here, and thank you all so much as NFIB members. First of all, for being members of NFIB and having the courage to fight as small business owners and be there, and to be here with us today. We love showing the value of NFIB every single day and the importance of us being a united small business community, and that's what NFIB is all about, especially during these uncertain times. And these typical run-of-the-mill weeks with legislative session, recalls, things in Washington, as you'll hear. So all the more reason it's so important that we are a united front as small business, and that's what NFIB is all about. My name's John Kabatek. I am the NFIB California State Director based in Sacramento. I'm so happy to welcome everyone joining us today and our very special guest, Congresswoman Young Kim, a very, very good friend personally and to NFIB and small business. Thank you all again for taking the time to be a part of today's great discussion. This is going to be an awesome discussion. A lot of important issues that we're going to be discussing with the Congresswoman and hearing from her about. But I know, wanting to hear from small business. Such issues that we're going to probably hear about is the PRO Act, the tax increases in reconciliation, and one that I know everybody's very familiar with, the Paycheck Protection Program. All of these are hot button issues for small business. They're issues that have been on a lot of people's minds these past 18 months, and for some of you, even before that. So if you have any questions, I welcome you to join in. We're going to have a Q&A portion of the roundtable. And with that being said, I would like to pass the baton to our great Vice President of Federal Government Affairs, Kevin Kuhlman. Kevin, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Well, good morning to you all, and good afternoon from here. I have the Kevin Kuhlman, Vice President of Federal Government Relations for NFIB, and I have the distinct pleasure to introduce Congresswoman Young Kim, who is proud to represent California's 39th Congressional District in her first term. She is a member of the Small Business Committee, which is appropriate because she is a small business owner, in addition to being an immigrant and a community leader and mother. We welcome her. We've long been fans, whether it's John in the Assembly or following a couple of the races, and very happy to have her not only in Congress, but as a member of the Small Business Committee. As this week is National Small Business Week, I know the committee held a hearing, getting perspectives from small business owners yesterday, interested in hearing and learning what you heard as a theme in that. But really want to emphasize your 100% NFIB key vote record thus far in this Congress, which is a significant improvement from any predecessor. So with that, I will give the call over to you, Congresswoman Kim, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kevin. And before I begin, I want to thank NFIB for organizing this event. And I would thank Taylor, John, thank you, and for your leadership as well. As Kevin mentioned, during my time in the State Assembly, I've been repeatedly called the champion of the small business, and you've honored me with the distinction of being the best voice and best vote for small businesses. It's a title that I take very, very seriously, and I'm humbled by that. And I came to Washington, D.C. to continue to be the voice and advocate for our small business community. As a former small business owner myself, I completely understand all the difficulties and challenges that the small businesses and the entrepreneurs face each and every day, especially during the last year and a half, as we have to operate under the very, very difficult circumstance. You've all been able to weather through the challenges. So I want to thank you so much. As we celebrate the National Small Business Week, I think we should honor the great work that entrepreneurs like you do to create jobs and be the engine of our middle class and Main Street economy. As I mentioned, small businesses suffered through so much during the worst economic crisis and the market disruptions in our nation's history because of the COVID-19 pandemic we faced. But fortunately, you saw that our country came together in a bipartisan way to provide the immediate relief for struggling small businesses through programs like PPP that you I know you all probably have been able to take advantage of it, but in the 117th Congress, we came together once again and showed what we can achieve in a bipartisan fashion by signing into law the Ppp Extension Act. This was something, one of my very first piece of legislation that I was able to work in a bipartisan way with my Democratic colleague from Georgia, another freshman who came from, the similar district like mine, Congresswoman Bordeaux, and then the committees, Chairwoman Velasquez and Ranking Member Lukemire. Having their leadership and support from early on was instrumental in getting that piece of legislation passed through in a record time. And so with that 2-month extension from March 31 to May 31st of this year, we were able to disperse approximately additional 2.7 million PPP loans for a total of $54 billion. And now we are concluding the PPP operation, but the next phase is where we are right now, PPP forgiveness process. So our small business committee is paying attention to listen to businesses like you on your experience with getting the PPP loan and your experience in getting this PPP loan forgiven through this process. And we want to make sure that we have the control mechanism in place to ensure that we are protecting taxpayers from fraud and abuse. So now as our small businesses face additional headwinds in the form of persistent inflation, supply disruptions, and the threat of more lockdowns and the risk of higher taxes. My colleagues and I in Congress, we are focusing on policies that allow small businesses to thrive rather than finding ways to get the federal government in the way of your success. I always have said all along, the best thing we can do to our small businesses is to get out of your way so you can do what you know best, because you're the only one who knows how to run your own business. So my goal is to get out of your way, but be there for you and be your advocate whenever you need us. Um, as you know, recently, Speaker Pelosi and House Democrats unveiled the series of tax proposals that would seriously undermine the recovery of our small businesses from the COVID-19 pandemic. The proposals like limiting the 199A deduction, which is available, that was there to help the small businesses. And then increasing the top tax rate to 26.5% from 21%, and then raising the capital gains rate to 26% from 21%, and boosting IRS funding to increase audits. These will undeniably hit small businesses really hard. So in addition to the enormous tax increases that we could see in the final reconciliation package, the House majority is planning to attach partisan pieces of legislation like the PRO Act that John talked about, something that we experience in the state of California, how detrimental this is, because PRO Act would make millions of independent contractors illegal and embolden labor union bosses by turning independent contractor into union jobs. So to that end, I really look forward to hearing from you and learn about how we can help your small businesses thrive for the years to come. But as I mentioned, I really want to, yesterday, yes, as you mentioned, Kevin, it was yesterday when I had my roundtable discussion and had invited small businesses from my district to testify before our small business committee during the National Small Business Week. And we heard a lot of concerns, but at the same time, how the PPP has been helping to serve as a lifeline. So before we do some questions, I also want to throw out some questions that I would like to hear from you, because you are the one at the front lines running the businesses. If you can share with me how the increase in inflation and price of goods and the supply chain disruptions are impacting your business operations. And I don't know if you took out the first loan or second draw of PPP loans, but if you did, if you can further elaborate on how these PPP loans allowed you to keep your doors open and how many employees you were able to retain because of the PPP loan you got. And maybe one more question that you can all combine this and respond is if you are currently making changes in your company during this current recovery stage. With that, let me stop and allow chance for all of you to share with me. I'm going to try to share. I want to see who's on here, because I think it gives me the opportunity to have, let's see, together mode. I love this part. Together mode. That way I see where everybody is. That's it. So I see John, Kevin, Taylor, and this is where I am. And then I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 businesses joining. So could you kindly introduce yourselves? And then if you can respond to the questions that I posed, I would really, really love to hear from you and then share with my colleagues on the committee. Who wants to
Wonderful.
go first?
We would love to hear from any of you. Especially young Kim, she wants to hear from constituents. That's so refreshing from leadership in our system. So thank you, Young. We'll open it up. Taylor, I'll let you kind of run it from here. Is there anybody who would like to ask or respond?
Yeah, Taylor. I can say hi. I know the Congresswoman from all the events. She's tirelessly going to every event in Orange County and LA and all over.
Yes.
Always
How are you?
Nice and always very good to see you. My name is Mary Ann Marino, and almost 50 years ago, my parents worked very hard to create a small business in Southgate, California. I'm an Orange County resident, but the challenges throughout the pandemic, especially now, are the labor shortages. We have 10 employees, and a few of them are about to retire. Many of them have been there 35, 38 years, and we're all getting a little tired, but it's hard now to find people to even think about applying. We have a big sign to apply. Go to jobs@maloneymeat.com. We've had it there for a couple of months, and we don't have one person who's responded. We have 2 staffing agencies that hire nothing but butchers, and they're not able to provide anybody either. So that's the real challenge for us, because, we provide skilled labor. They're meat cutters, they're butchers. And so, everybody says, well, just pay them more. That's what the president said. But, as labor goes up and now the meat prices are supposed to go up, well, the consumers don't have more money to pay. So it's all going to fall out. So I was just kind of curious if, we're hearing anything about the labor shortages, if they're still going to be giving that incentive to encourage people to stay home instead of work. Is that going to come to an end?
My hope is that it should come to an end, because as I drive around and meet with small businesses throughout the district, this is the same concern I've heard over and over. So they are willing to provide as you, Marianne, it's, by the way, it's so good to see you, and I hope you and Larry are doing well.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's the thing. They have I'm hiring sign everywhere. I've seen it. And then they're offering way more than minimum wage, and they're offering great benefits, but they don't want to come back. Several people have applied, but then, they get a call back the next day and say, I decided maybe I'll come back to you maybe October 1st. And you know why? That's the magic number. They want to wait until late as possible to get all the unemployment benefits, because they do the calculation. They feel that they're getting more for not doing anything. So why not extend their time not working and get their benefits and pay? So my hope is that it will stop when it stops, and do not do any more extension. Again, we have to incentivize our workforce and the people to get back to work without having to rely on our government, because this is definitely turning into a socialism that I see. So I hear you. But let's hear from others too, also, and see what
Thank
kind
you.
of difficulties you have.
Go ahead, Sunder.
So Congressman,
Yes.
Congressman Kim, my name is Sunder Ramani, Westwind Studios post-production company in Burbank. You obviously have a very strong pulse of the small business community. Thank you for all your efforts.
Sure.
And I'll let everybody else weigh in on all the questions you asked. We're all suffering all the elements you did talk about. Lack of ability to hire, inflationary pressure, which pushes wage pressure, and then satisfying all the government mandates on the PPP protocol. I'm sorry, yeah, the COVID protocols. I have one request as entrepreneurs, and as you are one yourself. When you go back to your committee hearings and you call in the IRS commissioner or any of these other people, please have them stop using the vernacular revenue. They keep acting like they're losing revenue. We understand revenue. We earn it. We work hard for it, and they tax it. So if we can lose one word out of the federal government, is that they lose revenue. No, they lose taxes, but not revenue. So I think would be a huge change in how the federal government should look at the monies they're taking in. We make revenue and we give it to you as taxes. But thank you for all your efforts on our behalf.
Sure. Thank you. I hear you. And Marianne, as you know, we and then your point, I think the unemployment employment benefit ended early part of this month, right? I think so. But I really hope that we don't have anything gets included in the final reconciliation package that would extend the unemployment benefits. That's what I'm fighting for. The quick update on the reconciliation discussion is that Small Business Committee and the Science, Space, and Technology Committee that I serve on, both of them, we had our markup hearings last week, and we made our case. And I even had several amendments to, see how really these the tax and everything and the reconciliation budget that we are about to pass will have impact on the inflation on our U.S. economy. So all of those great amendments that we passed, introduced, have been shut down, obviously. And that's the problem here. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are trying to ram it through the process without getting the Republican input. And that's not why I came to Congress, but I may be one voice, one vote, but I'm fighting for you to ensure that both sides really come together to work in a bipartisan way to really think about what is in the best interest of our small businesses, who are the job creators. Anybody else want to let me know and address the questions that I answered? I really want to hear from you.
I'll say something. Is that okay?
Yes.
My name is Beth Booth, and my husband and I own a design and build company in San Diego. And so we're part of this housing craze right now. And so our business, I wouldn't say is technically suffering, because everybody is trying to remodel like on the face of the planet right now, it seems like.
Yeah.
But our issue is supply chain insanity is affecting our timelines. by 6 months, 8 months. We can't get anything approved through building because all the building people are still working from home and not coming into the city offices. So we can't talk to our planners, we can't talk to our checkers, we can't get inspections on time. And our cabinet lead times are 6 months, appliance lead times are 6 months. And so the backlog that we're creating downstream, if you will, is creating, in our opinion, a bubble that's going to burst. And so even though we're not hurting right this second, I think the fundamentals of the economy are so out of control and unsound that we all know it's coming, and it's making everybody very fearful. And in terms of inflation, projects that used to cost, 1.75 million, or then at the time of contract, then 6 months later, when you finally start to build, you're now 30% more than that. And you're going to your client asking for that. And it's a hard sell, obviously. But if it wouldn't have taken me 6 months to get through planning, I could have maybe secured that price for them. So the backlog and the supply chain issues and inflation are so unsound that to forecast what we're going to do 6 months from now, 12 months from now as a business is impossible. And so I wish we could all go up to Congress with you and share our actual stories, and so that they could see. And to Sunder's point, if we could remove the idea that you're raising taxes on big corporations, that's not accurate. You're raising them on every corporation, which is me, a husband and wife, a father, son, a mom and pop. And that marketing ploy is so gross, and yet people don't understand the reality. So to his point, let's change the language that people can understand. There is not a tax differential for a big corporation and a tiny one. So until we break that messaging down, I don't know how people are going to get it. But that's all I want to say. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. You make a great point, Beth, and people need to recognize that over like almost 85% of our small businesses are S corporations, and S corporations are small. I mean, they have, I mean, we're not talking about thousands and thousands of employees. We're talking about some businesses with even 5 or 10 or 25. Those are small businesses and S corporations, and they're going to be hit with this tax increases they're considering in the budget reconciliation. So I hear you. And one thing that I noted and was thinking as I was listening to our witnesses yesterday who came before the Small Business Committee hearing was that we need to hear more from people like you. That's why I'm so glad that I have this chance to talk to you, because yesterday when we did it, obviously, I wish each of us could bring 5 so that all of you could be my witnesses and do this throughout every day, not just one day. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Our colleagues on both sides of the aisle need to hear from you directly and not pretend that we know everything. And that's many times what's happening. We try to dictate as policymakers from 3,000 miles away in our case, because all of you are Californians and I'm from California. By the way, I'm in DC because I also serve on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and we had a hearing with Secretary Blinken regarding the Afghanistan situation. That also is going to affect all of us eventually as we discuss how many people we're going to resettle here and all that. That affects all of us, right? So just wanted to share that and share the observation I had. So let's see. I need to hear from a couple people that didn't say anything.
Can I go ahead?
Denise Duncan and Max Ordonez as a couple, but have at it.
I'll be happy to go.
Go ahead,
Thank
Denise.
you. Thank you so much for being here and paying attention to us. We're really struggling. I'm not going to speak for everybody else on the call, but I want to go back to Beth's point about the supply chain. I am in manufacturing. I'm also a C Corp, and our entire team, including my business partner, are less than 10. So I'm one of those evil corporations too. And again, that language really needs to change. But our supply chain issue is my equipment is made out of stainless steel. The price of stainless steel is all over the place. I've had as much as a 17% price increase that I have to pass along to my customers who are also in manufacturing. And it's my opinion that without manufacturing, if we don't make stuff here, we're in trouble. And I'm concerned about how this supply chain affecting manufacturing is going to hit us down the road. Again, I'm in a different industry than Beth, for instance, but I've got the same problem, and it's worrisome. I also can't. My lead times are longer, so when my lead times are longer, I can't invoice. So my cash flow gets really wonky. It's another problem we're facing. We're managing through it with all the CARES Act, the PPP funds, the SBA loans. That's the only way we were able to keep our doors open. And I will add that I have a California-based equipment dealership, a distributorship, and I'm an OEM on the other business. And the California business is barely hanging on. My OEM business, I sell to dealers throughout the country, so I have a tiny bit of a barometer of what the rest of the country's, what the situation is for everybody else. California is just abysmal. It's just abysmal, and manufacturers in California, depending on what industry, they're hesitant to spend any money on capital equipment. So let's change the language. Supply chain is really a big concern of ours. Lead times, price increases, economic volatility that affects manufacturers and their want to purchase capital equipment. So thank
I
you.
hear you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that concern. Let me hear from one other person that didn't say anything yet.
Can you hear me, Congresswoman?
Yes.
Wonderful. Good morning. My name is Max Ordonis. I live really close by here in East Whittier, so I'm a neighbor in your district. More importantly, I do a lot of consulting with smaller businesses, and one of the issues that's coming up currently at the moment is the EIDL loan, the EIDL loan. I have people who are still 12, 14 months into the process, and we can get the needle moving. Either it's even to simply reply to resolutions, reconsiderations. And so just wanted to mention that. And I'm talking just the first portion of EIDL. I know there's been an increase has been available for very many people, but some people haven't been able to receive the initial one. Is there, do you believe that it's a good idea maybe for them to contact their congressional district office and for SBA inquiry? Or what your thoughts around that? Thank you.
Yes, please have them contact my office, and gosh, I can't remember the number right now, but sorry, 202-225-4111. That's district office, but we will definitely connect you to our district caseworker to be able to make those inquiries. And on that note, any difficulties you or your clients, customers might be having, feel free to let us make those inquiries for you. And we are trying to be as transparent and open as possible so we can provide the resources that are available through SBA. We will also be doing some business workshops where we not only bring what's available from the SBA and other agencies, but we want people like you to be there, and then maybe have during that workshop, we will be having your voices be heard. So we will kind of match up with SBA folks that's coming out to actually have one-on-one consultation or discussions. I think that would be helpful as well.
Congresswoman, thank you. And thank you, Max. I know you're tight for time. We wanted to see if we could ask one more member real quick. She's been hanging on. She's a newer activist member too. Phoebe, yes. Welcome. It's great to have you. So I'll let you take it from here if you can spare the time, Congresswoman. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, Phoebe.
Yes, hi. My name is Phoebe Manser. I have a small print shop that I opened in 1996 in Santa Barbara, California. And I also was the co-founder of a community association. One of the things that we saw was that we as a community were able to be more effective than anything that the city government did on our behalf. And I would just ask that whatever policies that you're working on, that you don't negotiate, that you stay on the line, because nothing government does that I've seen helps. Government has created this problem, and now they're trying to put a Band-Aid on it by making small businesses like an indentured and reliant on subsidies, grants. What we really need are customers. And it's, for me, it's really frustrating because I've been following this from my local level, and I would just ask you to please stand firm, don't negotiate, don't concede anything, stand your ground.
Thank you. Thank you, Phoebe, for saying that. As I said earlier, my goal is to get out of your way and help you do what you know best to do and get the government out. I think in order for you, whether you're in a contracting business or customer service related businesses, I think the important thing is for us to provide the business friendly environment. If you're in the contracting business, we need to make sure that permitting process is faster, prompt, so you can get the jobs moving along. So we need to be giving more incentives for you to be more creative instead of bogging down with these new rules and regulations and more laws on top of more laws, because that's not what you need. So I promise you, I'm going to continue to listen to you and continue to work on each policies that will be helpful to you and get us out of the way, get government out of the way.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. I know you've used that phrase a couple of times, Congresswoman, but I know your goal is to get government out of the way, but I think we would be far worse off if we didn't have you there helping small businesses get on the way and pave the way, and you've been helping to pave the way, and we're so glad
she said hi to you.
Thank you.
For us. And there's Larry Marino.
Hey, Larry.
Good to see you.
Oh, Marian, you're so sweet to bring him along. Okay, Larry.
She just said hi to you. Come up, come up.
Yeah. I'm on the radio from home. So.
Oh, you are? All right. I look forward to getting on the radio show with you too. Okay.
Yes, anytime. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I'm on my way to see my first granddaughter. She was just born, by the way.
That's great. Well,
congratulations.
Congratulations to you. That is such great news. We don't know if you have any closing remarks or last sentence or two. You got bigger things to deal with, smaller things, but bigger things. So
no, seriously. Thank you. I'm doing this because I feel as an immigrant, I feel that I owe to this country for all the opportunities that it provided to me. And my parents, who are no longer with me, when I saw them watching me when I was walking down the aisle to get my college diploma, I went to USC, by the way, fight on. But, when they decided to make that tough decision to bring us to United States, they said, you are the youngest of 7 kids. There is no way we will have the ability to send you through school. And so I saw my parents crying as they saw me receiving my college diploma, and they said, gosh, our American dream is realized. But for me, that was only the beginning. I went on to open my own business, be a very successful one at that. And then I went on to serve the community when I was introduced to then State Senator Ed Royce. Later, I went on to continue to serve with him in this United States Congress. Who would have thought 45 years later, this young girl then would be standing or sitting before you, talking to you like this, as a member of Congress, as a member of the State Small Business Committee, talking about why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want to be able to work for you, with you, and be there for you. So not only me, not only you, but our next generation that come after us will have the same opportunity to realize and live their American dream. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I just wanted to let you know, I came here to work across the aisle. I've learned through my days in the state assembly, through my days as working as a congressional staff, how important it is to get those R's and D's out of the way once we are here elected, to work on issues that is important for us. California is going through a very difficult time right now. The PRO Act that we talked about, this is un-American. This is not the way that we legislate and work on policies, because it doesn't help us, you, the job creators. So I just wanted to share that personal story with you. I am really committed. I may be one voice, one vote, but I'll make sure that my one vote matter and it counts. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being with me. I really want to stay connected with you. And John, Taylor, and Kevin, they have my contact information. I know Marianne, everybody that I just met maybe for the first time today. Stay connected and let me know how I can be of help to you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. You are the embodiment of the American dream, the California dream, young Kim. And we thank you so much. And the secret sauce to being successful is helping to make sure small businesses are successful. And you're doing that. And we're so grateful. And you're such an example to us and a friend. So we thank you. I know you're having a busy day. I know everybody else here on the call has got busy small business days. So we want to let you all get back to all of that. But I just want to say a couple quick things. Thank you for sure to Taylor Criddle, our grassroots manager. If you're ever interested in being involved, have questions, have needs as a member, check in with Taylor. He is amazing. I do want to thank Kevin Kuhlman. Kevin, I don't know if you have any comments. You've been awesome leading the charge in Washington, but we thank you and the whole team of NFIB folks in Washington. One person who was not on the call but has been fighting just as fiercely here on the West Coast has been our state government affairs director and advocate, Kevin Pedrati. So, and I know Kevin's been joining us for this call, and he's just amazing. So, and then I just want to thank all of you out there. And then I would just ask one last thing. If you, the only way we're going to be a more powerful and fierce NFIB here and nationally is to be a bigger NFIB. And so as you come across that person next door who's got a cookie shop, or somebody who's got an auto service center down the street, or a friend or a neighbor, let our salespeople know, let Taylor know, let me know, so that we can get them to be a part of NFIB. Phoebe's a perfect example of one of our newer, more active members, and we appreciate that. At least more active, but you've all been here. But just let other people know, let our field sales team know, so we can be a bigger organization. So with that said, Taylor, I think we're going to let everybody get back to their order of business. If you did have a question or a thought or something that you didn't get to ask young Kim, please let us know. Get it to Taylor. We'll make sure that we can get it to her team, to our team, or to both, so we can get those answers and questions addressed. That's important to us to get it to you. So with Taylor, I'll just pass the karaoke mic or the baton back to you to finish it up. But we thank you all so much. And young Kim, you are a superstar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Taylor, I'll let you put it out.
Thanks, John, and thank you, Congressman, for everything you've done for small business in Congress and in the state assembly. You truly are a champion of small business, and I know that we had a number of members that are constituents of yours that were unable to make the call, so I know that they're going to be looking forward to watching this and learning about what's going on and some of the pressing issues. Again, if you guys would like to, if you have any additional questions or would like to continue the conversation in the chat box, I've left my email, John's email, a link to our website, nfib.com/California. Thank you, everyone, for joining the call today. It was an amazing call.
And also, Alex Cisneros left his email in the chat box too. So I was just reading that. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Be safe and be successful.
That's great.
Thank you very much. Take care, Young. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.